When we look into the deep, winding river of Canadian history, we find many powerful currents that have shaped our nation. One of the most significant, yet often overlooked, is the story of Black Canadians. This history is not a footnote. It is a foundational part of our collective identity, filled with stories of courage, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. At the very heart of this narrative lies a remarkable historical artifact, a simple ledger that holds the names and destinies of thousands. This document is known as the Book of Negroes, and it serves as a vital key, unlocking a crucial chapter of our past and offering a profound glimpse into the lives of the first large wave of Black settlers in this country. The Book of Negroes is much more than just a list of names compiled long ago. It is a testament to a pivotal moment in time, a tangible record of promises made and lives forever changed. Created in 1783, this document represents the intersection of war, emancipation, and migration. It was born from the chaos at the end of the American Revolutionary War, a conflict that offered an unexpected and complex opportunity for enslaved Black people. By understanding this ledger, we begin to understand the very origins of Black loyalist communities in Canada, and we honor the individuals who embarked on a perilous journey north, carrying with them the hope for a new beginning and the dream of a life lived in freedom. This historical document provides an incredibly detailed and personal look at the people it lists. It was not merely a head count, but a careful documentation of identity. For each of the roughly 3,000 individuals recorded within its pages, the ledger includes their name, age, and a brief physical description. Crucially, it also notes whether they were born free, were formerly enslaved, or had served with the British forces during the war. This information was their proof of status, their ticket to a new life. Each entry tells a small story, a snapshot of a person standing on the precipice of a monumental change, leaving behind a land of bondage for an unknown future in the British territory of Nova Scotia. The very existence of the Book of Negroes is a powerful symbol of a promise kept, at least in part. The British had offered freedom to enslaved people who escaped their American revolutionary masters and joined the British cause. As the war ended with a British defeat, American slaveholders, including General George Washington, demanded the return of their property. The British commander, Sir Guy Carleton, refused to break his promise. He insisted that every Black person who had been granted their freedom would remain free. The Book of Negroes was his meticulous method of documenting these individuals to ensure their safe passage and protect them from being re-enslaved, solidifying their claim to liberty. The creation of the Book of Negroes was a direct consequence of the end of the American Revolutionary War. In 1783, as the British prepared to evacuate their last stronghold in New York City, a tense and complicated situation unfolded. Thousands of Black people had flocked to the British lines during the war, drawn by proclamations like Lord Dunmore's in 1775, which promised liberty to any enslaved person who would bear arms for the king. These individuals served the crown in various capacities, not only as soldiers in units like the Black Pioneers, but also as cooks, laborers, nurses, and guides. Their service was invaluable, and with the war lost, their future hung precariously in the balance. British and American commissioners, including the future First President George Washington, met to oversee the terms of the Treaty of Paris. A major point of contention was Article 7, which stipulated that the British must evacuate without carrying away any Negroes or other property of the American inhabitants. Sir Guy Carleton, the acting British commander-in-chief, interpreted this clause with a humane and principled stance. He argued that any Black person who had been promised freedom before the treaty was signed was no longer American property, but a free British subject. He staunchly refused to hand them over to face the grim reality of re-enslavement, a decision that set the stage for a mass migration unlike any other. To resolve this diplomatic standoff and uphold his commitment, Carleton ordered the creation of a detailed register. This ledger, the Book of Negroes, was meticulously compiled by his officers between April and November of 1783. Each black person seeking passage on a British ship out of New York had to appear before a board of inspectors. They would state their case, providing details of their life and their journey to freedom. The clerks recorded their name, age, and a description, along with the name of their former owner and the circumstances of their emancipation. This process transformed a chaotic evacuation into an organized, documented exodus, providing each person with official proof of their free status. With their names inscribed in the ledger, these 3,000 black loyalists were granted passage on ships bound for a new life in the remaining British North American colonies. The vast majority were destined for Nova Scotia, a rugged and sparsely populated territory. The journey itself was an arduous one, with families crowded onto vessels, facing the uncertainties of a long sea voyage toward a land they had never seen. For them, the Book of Negroes was more than just a travel document. It was the physical embodiment of their newfound liberty. It was the official seal on a promise of freedom, a promise they carried with them as they sailed north to help found some of Canada's very first free black communities. The arrival of the Black Loyalists in Nova Scotia marked the beginning of a challenging new chapter. They settled in various parts of the province, with the largest community forming in Birchtown, which quickly became the biggest settlement of free black people outside of Africa. Other communities were established near places like Shelburne, Annapolis Royal, and Halifax. The promise of a better life included allotments of land, tools, and provisions to help them start anew. For a time, it seemed as if the dream of true independence was within reach. Many families received small plots of land, allowing them to build homes, cultivate gardens, and establish a sense of permanence after years of turmoil and displacement. However, the reality of life in Nova Scotia often fell short of the promises made. The land granted to black loyalists was frequently of poor quality, rocky, infertile, and located in isolated areas far from established towns. In many cases, the promised land grants were delayed for years or never materialized at all, leaving families in a state of limbo. White loyalists often received larger, more desirable tracts of land much more quickly. This systemic inequality created immense hardship, forcing many black settlers to work as low-wage laborers, sharecroppers, or domestic servants for their white neighbors, echoing the very servitude they had fought so hard to escape. The economic struggles were compounded by social hostility and racial discrimination. Black workers were often paid significantly less than white workers for the same jobs, creating tension and resentment. In 1784, this tension erupted into violence in the Shelburne Riot, considered Canada's first race riot. Disgruntled white soldiers and laborers, angry about having to compete for jobs with the free black population, attacked the black settlers in Birchtown, destroying their homes and driving them into the wilderness. This event was a harsh reminder that while they had escaped legal enslavement, they had not escaped the grip of prejudice and injustice in their new home. Faced with these overwhelming challenges, poor land, economic exploitation, and racial animosity, many black loyalists grew disillusioned with their new life in Nova Scotia. The dream of a prosperous and equal society seemed increasingly out of reach. This widespread disappointment led to a second Great Migration. In 1792, nearly 1,200 black loyalists, about a third of those who had originally settled in the province, chose to leave Canada. Organized by the British abolitionist John Clarkson, they boarded a fleet of 15 ships and sailed to West Africa to establish a new colony of freedom in Sierra Leone. Their departure was a testament to the harsh realities they faced and their unyielding desire for true self-determination. Despite the hardships and subsequent migrations, the Book of Negroes remains an invaluable historical treasure. The original document is carefully preserved, with one copy held in the National Archives in the United Kingdom, and another at the National Archives in the United States. Its pages provide a direct and irreplaceable link to the past, offering historians and genealogists a rich source of information. For the descendants of the Black Loyalists, both in Canada and in Sierra Leone, the ledger is a foundational genealogical tool. It allows them to trace their ancestry back to the very individuals who made that courageous journey, connecting them to a powerful story of resilience and the fight for freedom. The profound human stories contained within this historical ledger were brought to a global audience through my novel, The Book of Negroes, published in some countries as Someone Knows My Name. I chose to tell this history through the eyes of a fictional character, Aminata Diallo, a woman who is captured as a child in West Africa, endures the horrors of slavery in the American South, and ultimately finds her name written in the Book of Negroes. Her journey to Nova Scotia and beyond is a narrative designed to illuminate the personal experiences, the immense suffering, and the incredible strength of the people whose lives are represented by the simple entries in the book. My goal in writing the novel was to breathe life into the historical record, to transform the names on the page back into living, feeling human beings. Aminata's story, while fictional, is woven from the factual tapestry of the Black Loyalist experience. It explores her intellectual gifts as a storyteller and a linguist, her pain at the loss of her family, and her unwavering spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. The novel's title itself sparked some controversy, as the historical term Negroes can be jarring to modern ears. However, I felt it was essential to use the document's actual name to honor its historical authenticity and to confront the difficult language of the past directly, rather than sanitize it. Ultimately, the Book of Negroes, both the historical document and the stories it has inspired, is a cornerstone of Canadian history. It stands as a powerful reminder that Canada's story has been multicultural from its earliest days, and that the pursuit of freedom has long been a central theme in our national narrative. It challenges us to look beyond simplistic histories and to acknowledge the complex, often painful, realities of our past. By engaging with this chapter, we not only honor the 3,000 souls who sought refuge here over 2 centuries ago, but also gain a deeper, more complete understanding of the enduring legacy of Black Canadians and their foundational role in shaping the country we know today.